Feudalism is often taught as a rigid social and political system that defined medieval Europe. Kings sat at the top, knights defended the land, and peasants toiled at the bottom in exchange for protection. While this image is partially true, it simplifies a highly complex, regionally varied, and evolving set of practices that span several centuries. One of the first things historians get wrong, or at least oversimplify, is the use of the word feudalism itself. The term was not used during the Middle Ages. It was invented centuries later by scholars trying to describe the political and social structures of the period. The word emerged in the 17th and 18th centuries as legal historians sought to codify medieval laws and hierarchies. By the 19th century, feudalism had become a convenient label for the decentralized political arrangements that followed the collapse of the Roman Empire. France is often viewed as the heartland of feudalism, especially in the 10th-13th centuries. But even there, it evolved. Early on, lords held nearly autonomous power, but over time, the French monarchy centralized authority and reduced feudal independence. In England, feudalism became more formalized after the Norman conquest of 1066, when William the Conqueror redistributed land to his Norman barons. Yet, the English system quickly developed strong royal control, unlike the more anarchic arrangements in parts of Germany or Italy. Feudalism is often thought of as a system of institutions, but it was really a web of relationships, especially between lords and vassals. A vassal was someone who pledged loyalty and military service to a lord in exchange for a piece of land, or fief. But this was not always formal or guaranteed. These relationships were personal and grounded in mutual obligations. A lord was supposed to protect the vassal and offer justice. In return, the vassal owed service, usually military, and allegiance. Another common mistake is equating serfdom with slavery. While serfs were not free in the modern sense, they were not property like slaves. They were bound to the land, meaning they could not leave the lord's estate without permission, but they also had legal rights. Serfs could marry, own personal property, and pass on possessions to their children. They owed labor and taxes to their lord, but in return received protection and land to farm. Serfdom was a kind of mutual obligation, not chattel slavery. The popular image of medieval society features powerful kings ruling over obedient nobles and peasants. In reality, many kings had limited control beyond their immediate domains. Much of the real power was held by local lords, especially in the early Middle Ages, circa 500 to 1000 AD, when royal authority often collapsed. In some regions, castles, not capitals, were the centers of power. Lords collected their own taxes, maintained private armies, and even administered justice. Feudal military obligations were limited and often negotiated.